So today's a little different than our normal shows. But I think this is going to be fun because this is Scotty, the first time you've been on a show on the new channel.
Yeah, yeah,
So
for just the Justin
with
Wenzel podcast.
our meager subscribers right now, but
Hell yeah. What's up, meager subscribers? Love you guys.
we love you guys. We love you guys, but yeah, we're definitely trying to grow this page, and so we'd appreciate it if you guys did subscribe. If you like what you see, of course, and we're going to continue to bring you value right here on the Just Wenzel podcast channel. But anyways, we wanted to discuss some stuff that's a little different than what our normal thing is because we're normally storytelling and things like that. But I think we wanted to bring some insight as to what we're dealing with in this industry, in the coaching industry, and things like that. So, what's up, you guys?
What is up? Jake's here. The whole crew is gonna be fun. Yeah, for sure. Well, we kind of started touching on it already before the conversation went in with the content deal.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. And the cool thing is that if somebody's watching this, that is a coach. Um, we work with coaches all day long, and it's literally from the minute we wake up to the minute we go to bed, we get to coach people in their businesses and stuff like that. And when Scotty and I started this, and I don't want this to be like a heyday conversation, and I don't think you do either. But when
No?
we started this, a lot of things have changed. Like everything's changed. It's completely different than when we were like, pretty much just program hustling.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It really was well it was too, right? It was like, all right, well, like build this push pull leg, this bro split, use trainer eyes, and then give them some groceries and then just sell the fuck out of that, right? And just talk to
Yeah.
9 million people a day. It doesn't matter who they are, just fucking start blasting stuff out there.
And no, exactly. It was like, and we were like hounding our storylines and everything. And it was hard, but it was like it wasn't any easier than it is now. It just was much more pushy.
Oh yeah.
And
Way more.
also the volume needed to excel was far less.
Yeah, well, there was only a handful of people even attempting it, outside of, your main few guys. So it was like it was just an influx no matter who was doing it, whether it was right or wrong. And then, as time progressed, it was like, all right, nope, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Nope, get out of here. Nope. And then so now I think that ocean has gotten so much smaller, but a little bit more detailed and more full of people that are qualified to do it.
I think when Gary V really started talking about like day trading attention essentially is the book, but being omnipresent and very high volume and very natural and authentic, he's called everything in the industry. He's called literally everything that's ever happened. So we've literally lived through this. And now when we get to coach coaches, it's like um it's fun for us because we're like right on the cusp. So no matter what, when we get to start working with somebody, like we get to teach them shit that they never even knew existed. And the
Yeah.
biggest thing was volume. It was learning because remember, ChatGPT became a huge thing when we started. In like the first, like after the first couple of years, um, and now it's like it's so dialed in, but people need to understand that the volume is necessary.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and I think because there's so many people doing it now too, like even if they're more qualified, like there's an influx of ads, right? There's so like you've got more fish in the sea on that side of it. There's an influx of people boosting. There's an influx of people doing CTAs. So like all of that has just the volume is huge, but because of that, you've got to touch a lot more people to be able to get in contact with the right people and kind of,
Well,
swim
I,
through that sea of
I think
people.
I think you're spot on, Scotty, because that's almost like there's an overload of information out there, and what it's doing is confusing the shit out of people, and they don't know what direction to go. But just like you and Justin do daily with your multiple posts, is it's getting it out to those people that need the message, and it's becoming more clear the volume and the people that are posting more people are going to see your shit more and they're going to resonate more with that.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
So I'll say this. Meta wants to deliver people an experience of like, feeling and keeping people on their page, right? And they know that that's how it works. And if that's the case, then you would think like if I were trying to establish myself as something outside of Meta, okay? If I wanted to become the next Tony Robbins, well, what is it going to take for me to become the next Tony Robbins? Well, I'm going to have to speak on more stages, more frequently, with bigger audiences.
hmm
yep.
There's your real life experience that Meta's trying desperately to create for people, and they're succeeding. The other thing that I will tell you is this: when it comes to advertising, okay, so I have Prashant now. He's like quarterly, when you spend a certain amount, you get issued like a fucking Meta correspondent. And I wasn't sure if I should like go the route that my mentors had taught me and stick to that, which is why we ended up changing a little bit inside the our
hmm
ads. Okay. Um, but I wanted to kind of, I had a feeling about this guy because he basically told me, he said, we want you to make money. We want successful businesses on our platform. So we have an understanding of what you do, and we know who we need to put it in front of. And so I was like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Like, what am I doing? Why haven't I been doing this all along? And so I wanted a better understanding from somebody who spoke better English. And basically, I called my buddy Evan, and Evan, I think I told you about Evan, but I've known him longer than I've known you, Scotty. I've
hmm
known him for my entire life. We were in diapers together. My family moved from Michigan to Maine. His family moved to Maine with my family to work at our stores. We moved back to Michigan. His family moved back so his father could run our service department, Larry Francis, who was with us for years and years and years. Big, tall, blonde dude.
hmm
So Evan is the in charge of all the algorithm um, architects and designers and
Okay.
engineers. So he's in charge of all of them. And they're literally for Indeed. Okay. So very successful cat. He's been doing it for like the last 15 years. So I asked him, I told him about the conversation that I had with Prashant. And Evan goes, absolutely. He's like, listen to him. He's a contracted worker whose job is to make sure that you make fucking money.
Yeah. Well, it makes perfect sense because you're going to turn around and spend it on more advertisement within their platform to
Yep.
produce more income. Like, yeah, it's
And
perfect.
so I feel like I was behind the kind of behind the eight ball there, because I had a conversation months back with John Matson, who essentially, when I now that I and this is the first time I've even like put the two together, who basically told me the same fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It probably just had a little bit more merit coming from somebody that like you trusted, like you knew, right? Because
Yeah.
and even in no matter what level you're at, like there's always gonna be that, right? Like, all right, it's a new person, got to figure that out. Yeah, how's this relationship? Where like
Yeah.
with Evan, he was just like fucking do this, and you're like, okay, got it,
Yep.
right? Because you knew him.
The other thing too is, and this is one thing to consider, is like we need to build and continue to build. Now we do have it. But we need to build the strategy so that way, because the only way people are going to get that type of information and that type of guidance is if you spend serious money in Meta. Because
hmm
otherwise, you're not going to get like the level of representative. Because when I first started, I didn't get really a representative. I could email back and forth. And
Yeah.
then I ended up getting a representative, but he was like, okay. And what you want to know what's funny is, and I don't know this to be true, but I know this from another story. John Anderson didn't start spending money on ads until like serious money until he met us. And obviously
hmm
we found a structure that crushed it. Right.
Yep.
But he had the same exact situation. Very little communication with the representative, a little bit of communication with like a mediocre representative, spent a little more and got a badass representative.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Mhm.
It's it's funny. This kind of falls in line with something I was talking about earlier. Was especially in the social media and meta world, it really, really brought out like this is gonna sound bad, but it really brought out who really is just fucking lazy, right? Because before social media. these same people were, well, the economy's this and my boss this and this that and this that, right? When there was probably people giving them advice and they could have took it then, but there was no social media, right? And then social media said, okay, here, I'm going to give you access to all of these people that have all of this money, all of these strategies, have built these businesses, and a lot of them are going to tell you exactly what to do. And those same people still won't do it, right? So like
Or they'll
social
say it's a
media.
scam.
Or let's say it's a
Yeah.
scam. Yeah. So like social media created like, okay, here, anybody that didn't know how to do it, they give you the tools now. Like they will literally give you the fucking tools to be successful. All you gotta do is use them. But it just brought out the lazy. Like people that are
Well,
just truly don't want to do it, they just don't do shit.
well, you got to
Yeah.
look at it too, Scotty, is the time of age, dude. Like people are born into this online where us growing up or 80s babies, we had to go out and work. Like, Justin was at the car dealership. You were a contractor. I owned my own gym. So we knew how to door knock. We knew how to build communication outside of social media. So when you
Yeah.
bring us three in people, and it's hard to explain that to the new coaches, is having that work ethic. Some have and some don't. And when you say the word lazy, it's because they don't know any better. But that's why we do what we do, is to show them those patterns and how to fucking do it. But
The,
even then,
the
Yeah.
go ahead.
And the best thing too, or the most exhausting thing, but the best part about this is that there is so much to learn and there's so much always changing that it will weed out the lazy.
Hmm.
Do you know how many coaches I've talked to? I can tell you, I can't tell you the exact number, but I can tell you it's been quite often that I find these guys with huge platforms. Remember my conversation with him? He's like, dude, I'm washed up as an online coach. He's like, I don't even know what to do anymore.
Hmm.
He sells most of his coaching programs from, I think, Snapchat is what he told me.
Yeah, I believe it.
And he,
Yeah.
of course, was just like most of the like big time bodybuilders that were selling low ticket, fast programs. But again, somebody like that who's got the biggest following, right? But all of a sudden everything changes. He doesn't know where to do what from. And before you know it, he's like, fucking done.
Yeah.
It's not worth the squeeze anymore to him.
Yeah. Just not having, but and there again, like just not having the strategy, not having the right system, not knowing exactly what to do. And that even with somebody like him, like I think there was a few years in time where even these gurus and these guys that kind of built the influencer names in bodybuilding were going through these periods of like they didn't even fucking know who this dude doesn't know shit. I tried this guy. This guy's supposed to be the dude. He didn't know anything. So now so like everyone is scrambling for these other resources. And like that's where like we come in, right? Where it's like, no, we weren't huge influencers in the bodybuilding industry and we didn't have this fucking crazy name for this, being the biggest fucking dude on earth and shit like that. But what we did have, just like Jake said, real world experience on what to do,
Mhm.
right? What if this happens? What do you do then? Right? What if this goes wrong? How do I fix that? Right? And it's all of those little things that were like, yeah, your systems, your strategies and all that are great, but a lot of times with those kind of guys, it really is just a matter of like they've never done business, period. Like they really have no idea like how to shift, how to pivot, how to use all of those things that they have in their head and the tools that they know how to use and to be able to give them to people and show people like they don't know that side of it. So like
No.
Well,
that's
I
where
think
like
I
we come
honestly would say John Anderson is the only professional athlete that I've met that is a very, not saying a good, like the only good. He's a great business owner, but he's the only very self-sufficient business owner that will get everything done that has also been a professional athlete that we've worked with or
yeah.
indirectly worked with.
well, not
Yeah,
only
he's
that,
he
but you got to look at like Dan Herring. Dan Herring had the content, knew what he was doing, but he couldn't. He didn't know what to do with somebody when they came in or onboard them or do the process. So there's that difference between the content creator and influencer that can attract the followers, get the people in the engagement. But then you got these coaches who have no idea what to do after that or the systems in place to onboard somebody properly, to know what their process and their payments and how to do Trainerize or whatever app they're using. So
Well,
there's a
yeah,
big difference from the, hey, get followers. Well, that's great to get the followers and be big, but if you're not making money off of it, there's no fucking purpose to
right.
it.
there's two full-time elements to the job. And I think that's where, you got, like, at first you got to do it all by yourself, or you're
Oh,
lucky
yeah.
enough to have a friend that you can feed off of and do it together. But that seldom works. Scotty, you and I are a huge fucking exception to the rule.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I think that also comes with again, doing it, failing at it, doing it again, understanding, like, just like we have to do with our coaches, right? Like, I have to understand that, like, Major doesn't operate remotely the same as I do or like you do, right? Or like some of our other, like even Dan Herring. Dan Herring is an amazing coach, but like we operate differently. So same deal where like we both understood, okay, well, there's going to be things about you I'm going to have to adjust so that we can work this out better. There's going to be things about me that you're going to adjust so that we can work well together. And that's all like, I think that's another part of like being a good coach or being a good mentor in this space for anybody that wants to do this, right? Is knowing and understanding in order to be able to work with anybody, you really have to be able to adapt to their personality without the ego. And I think that's why it works so well for us, right? Because we still have that checks and balances too, where it's like you can say to me, dude, what the fuck? And I can say to you, what the fuck? And okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, you're right. All right, moving forward. Right. We're like that's why it works. There's too many people that are always combating and they can't drop that fucking ego. And to be a good coach or or mentor and that, but that's why we make it work. So it's the same thing that we do and we teach our coaches. So I mean, that's a big part of it,
Well, I think the beauty is in it
in
too.
my
Is
opinion.
Yeah, I think the beauty from looking outside in when I came in as a client at JWX, I saw holes, but I wasn't in a position to fix those until I proved myself and found areas where you guys weren't necessarily guiding them or where I could come in with the design aspect of it. But now you look at all five of us, six of us in leadership, and everyone brings that different plate to the table, especially now Dan Herring, is we filled those gaps and we only get better and stronger. And now we've got the power of AI with us. So now it's just the force is even bigger. So I think outside looking in, we've now nailed we've done the due diligence and we've done the different things to get to where we are today. And it's
I would tell you this, if anything, the one thing that I am very proud of is that we have blown a lot of people up.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people up. Like we are good at blowing fucking people up. It is nuts to think.
Yeah, I have those days where I'll like, and I'll even say it to Allie. I know she gets tired of it sometimes, but I don't give a fuck, But like, I'll have those days, and I'll just sit down and I'll like maybe see a post from somebody I haven't seen in a while, or somebody that has blown up, like from when we first started working, and I'll just kind of sit there and just like had kind of that proud dad moment,
Yeah.
right? And I'll like show my wife a post and be like, babe, man,
Yeah.
look, he's fucking crushing it. You remember when they came on? You remember like they could barely get on camera? They were this fucking shy, and look at them now. Like that, just always have those like proud dad moments with that shit.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
cool for me being the dude that does the tangibles in the back office. When I see an ad or I see a Clark Adams from just a quick template ad that I created for him and making what 20 plus thousand just off of one single ad. And I sit back and I watch that ad pop up and it's like watching your kids like learn their first backflip, or gymnastics or whatever that is. It's rewarding. And Scott, you know that, man. I say that to Angela all the time. I'm like, dude, and I'll explain. I'll be like, look at her just shine right now. And it's one of our coaches just speaking or leading from the front. And you're like, I helped with that. We built that confidence as a team, and it took a lot of work to get those people there too. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's cool.
And that's why I
So,
like to like, oh, go ahead, Justin. Sorry.
well, I was just going to say, so when we get back to the conversation of posting frequency and allowing Meta to do its work for you, that was another big discovery that, not discovery, but another big element to to what we've been pushing these guys to do. And how do we get them the resources so that they can post consistently and they can produce great content and things like that. And Jake, you've been monumental in that. Obviously us consistently leveling up our game has forced our clients to significantly level up their game. And that's where we're consistently seeing these proud dad moments where it's like, whoa, holy shit, that dude started with like 300 followers. Now he's like, over 3,000. It's been 2 months. It's
Yeah.
been 2 months for them.
And it's hard and it gets frustrating because we do allow ourselves, we
Jake, they got a business.
well,
They have a
that's
whole
just it.
business.
Well, when we tell them we're
2
here,
months.
well,
Jake,
when we say we're here,
Jake, no, they have a business, bro. Just like that, lickety split, bro. It's
yeah,
been 2 months, bro. You got a business, an audience, and you're all set to go. Keep that going. And then when that
moving.
kind of runs out, just do more and try this. With a dash of
Sprinkle of that on
Jake.
there.
Jake, they got a business, bro. 2 months.
I understand.
I got to take a leak. This episode is brought to you by Zoom. when all the other guys fail on you and they give you shit and you can't hear each other and there's a 10-minute latency, Zoom.
No. I
Well, it's a
like
good
it.
thing.
I like it.
It's a good thing I
Yeah,
didn't buy that
that's
year.
why I
Guys,
didn't
keep
jump on
going.
that
I have to
fucking
take a leak.
call
This is the
earlier.
worst timing ever. This conversation just
Just
got
piss.
heated.
It's fine.
Just
That's
piss your
all right.
pants.
Well, just
My
yeah,
pants?
get
My
hold on.
Yeah, just
Right on
do
the
it.
show. Right on the show. Now,
Then we'll get some jean sponsorship.
I nope. I can't allow it. I
I
just
got it. I can't wait.
I can't allow it. I can't allow it. I can't allow it. There's just some things I can allow, right? But like peeing on the podcast,
That's why the president. I'm the graphics.
yeah, that's not can't we can't do that one. We can't do that one,
I'm
right?
the visuals.
No, but it's funny. Me and Allie always talk about that shit, dude. Especially when it's like one of our coaches that's like really been in a shell, right? And even like on the first call, right? Like not like even the boardroom call, like the first like discovery call, like when we just first get to talk to them, and we're pulling teeth to get words out. Like, do you want to coach? Uh-huh. Okay.
Well, bro, you got to think, dude.
You know?
I was one of them, dude, and that's why I paid for mentorship. That's why I invested in myself because those were the things I knew I needed help on. Not only just with being an online coach, but learning how to be a leader from the front because I've done it for so long and I've mentored so many people myself. But when it comes to yourself and the things that you have in your head and your confidence, you need a group of dudes to kick you in the balls and say, "Let's fucking go." And
Yeah.
there too many times I called you and Justin after a meeting, and be like, "Hey, I'm asking a question." You guys are like, "Why didn't you ask that on the call?" I'm like, "Because I was nervous." And I played in front of 60,000 people. That's the last thing
Yeah.
it should be. But that's just it. We just watched Christine Ritchie do it last week. Somebody 3 months ago was like, "There's no way I'm talking on camera. There's no way I'm doing this." And we're all sitting like, "Yeah, okay, we'll see." And all of a sudden, we spent an
Crushed it.
hour on her business alone in that Zoom, and she's coming out of her shell. And watch her blow up in the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 months, Justin.
Two
Two
fucking
fucking
months,
months.
guys. I
Two
mean, I'm
months,
telling you,
guys.
I'm seeing like Bronson Jenkins.
Bronson's killer.
Oh, dude.
What a stud. And he
Yeah, just
called
like
me and goes, "Hey Justin, I know you said don't start another Instagram page." He's like, "But I started another Instagram page." I'm like, "Bronson, god damn it. Okay, cool." And then
probably
what?
crushing anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he went to town and now he's absolutely crushing.
Yeah.
Again, like 2 months. Bronson, I
Two
don't
months
think has been with us an entire month,
for
right?
all of you, the
2 months
meager
maybe.
audience we have, or whatever the fuck you called it earlier, for all of you people, let's just explain to the audience a minute. We're talking about a 22-year-old kid that is so confident in his abilities that he just
Sharp though.
but just hey, do this. All right, I'm gonna do that. What should I do? Do this. All right, I'm gonna do that. Does it? What should I do? Do that. Just content through the roof, fucking crushing it. Just asking specific questions. 22 years old. When I was fucking when I was 22 years old, the last thing I was asking was business questions to a business mentor. It was more like, hey, how many lines are on the urinal, and did you bring that extra bottle? Thanks. It had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
That's all as far as we're going into that. But like the kid is at 22 years old,
Yeah,
like
in a
just
vacuum, he's
man,
the best, the most ideal client ever because he just does what he's told and he's good at what he does. He's
yeah,
friendly on camera. He's
Well,
great.
not just say he'll ask for advice, and as soon as we give it to him, he'll turn around and go do it. Like when I told
yeah,
him on my content call, you need more podcast style stuff. Literally that night, he posted a banger, and I'm like, this freaking kid takes everything we say.
Well, and
just
the
action,
other thing
action.
Bronson has going for him is that he is so likable.
Yeah. Yeah, and
There's
he's
nothing fake about
articulate
that
as
kid.
fuck. The way everything when he speaks is very genuine. Like, yeah, the kid's got it, and he's action, action, action,
Yeah,
action. Just like Jake said, what do I
yeah,
do?
he's a
Do this?
superstar.
Okay, do that. Yeah, yeah, that helps a lot.
He'll be a
I didn't never
superstar.
have that.
But every
Yeah,
coach that does that turns around and becomes a superstar. As soon as they ask for advice, they don't just sit on that advice. Or unless we've been on boardrooms where they'll ask a question and we'll tell them and we won't see them execute it. And then like a week later, and then when they do it, they're like, fuck, I should have done that 2 weeks ago. And we're like, that's
yeah,
what we
Yeah,
said. The ones that,
I get those texts all the time.
it
That
worked. I
content,
tried that
that
thing
content. I got
finally.
one
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
I gotta
But
go.
and that's like too though. That's another thing that I think so many people are scared of, just in general, not just in the coaching space, but in the general public too, is like having those conversations with people, being able to like care enough to be honest enough to say, look, like, yeah, you're getting it, but this still really sucks. Like, we got to work on this, right? And like, and being able to do that is huge because I think a lot of people fall short there, even in the coaching space and in the mentorship space, where they want to help and they want to do these things, but they can't just come out and say, no, that's terrible. You got to switch that. We got to change that up, right? And we try
Yeah.
to do that as much as we possibly can. And every now and then we'll get some kickback, right? Not very often, but every now and then. But just like you said, Justin, 9 times out of 10, a week later, you get that text, you get that message. Hey man, I did that thing. I finally just fucking tried it, and you were right. I should have just fucking did it, right? And it's like people need to understand, especially people listening to this. 99.99999% of us that want to help you guys want to help you guys.
Yeah.
Like, we
Well,
want to.
just
That's
like
our
Meta.
fucking main goal.
Yeah, just like Meta. We want
Yeah,
you to be a successful business out of our platform.
100%.
Like,
Well, Scott,
and that's one thing is it's like it's a trust thing.
yeah.
It really is, and that's the best part about mentorship is that the entire business is built on trust. And if you can maintain that trust and work with a lot of people, then you're going and have results, obviously, then you're going to be successful as a mentor.
Yeah.
Same applies for fitness coaching. Same
Hmm.
applies for life coaching. If you're going to be
Yeah.
able to work with a lot of people, if you have fucking social proof, you're going to be successful. But
Yeah.
I will, just to shift that conversation, that's easy to talk about when you're scaling.
Mm.
But what about
Hmm.
when you're starting? I think the biggest thing that people that what we understand and what we do very well, but what a lot of people don't understand when they step into mentorship is that sometimes it's not the right mentor in the sense that they're not prepared to start you from scratch.
Yeah.
Because scaling we already know is far easier than literally taking a guy who's like
From zero.
fresh out like 2 years out of prison, 86 followers on a private page with no profile picture and a girlfriend who didn't want him to be public.
Hmm.
And then from there to being where he's at
Blow the
today.
fuck
And
up.
I'm speaking very specific of Dane Carter.
Jake Carter.
And not to mention Tina, who didn't want him to
Hmm.
go public. I'm not trying to bust her out on this, but then she decided to start coaching.
Yeah.
And they both have wonderful platforms that they're doing really cool things with.
Yeah.
That
It's much
is
harder.
that is the hardest, is from taking someone from zero to full time.
Oh yeah.
That is like where we step in, and we are, yeah, you've never, you're a fireman, your entire life, you mean, like you've never done
No
anything but
idea how to do
run into
none of this
burning
shit.
buildings. So like you don't know how to like set up anything with the IRS or a business checking account.
Not a damn thing. Yeah. How are you
Like
gonna
a
how are
lot
they
of
gonna
people
pay
don't
you?
want to
I don't
waste their
know.
time with that stuff, but we streamline it because we're so good at scaling that as soon as we can get that person to understand what the fuck they're supposed to do, the scaling part's easy.
Yeah.
Well, I think that goes back to also your guys' occupation prior to this. You guys weren't born in the fitness world. Yeah, Scotty is an IFBB pro, and yeah, you were a fitness coach, but you guys were successful in your own trades and came into this and scaled this business. And it only makes it more applicable to other people who aren't online coaches that are going from their 9 to 5 now into the.
But here's the difference between Scotty and I, which is an interesting parallel, is that I was never an entrepreneur. I was an intrapreneur.
Yeah.
Scotty was always an entrepreneur.
True.
So it's an interesting, the way that our
But
situation has
in the
worked
same
out.
regard though too, like I was an entrepreneur, but a very raw edge entrepreneur to where like I didn't have your advertising expertise. I didn't know shit about proper marketing. Like I had an idea of like what I should be doing, right? But like just like Jake said
You were
earlier,
word of mouth
I
I
and
was
think,
word
yeah,
of
Scotty,
mouth. I was
Scotty
shaking
and I were,
knocking
hands. I was
doors
talking
and
to
I think
people.
Scotty and
Yeah.
I were the same,
Yeah.
especially me coming from the music industry and shaking the
Yeah.
hand and being public and then going to
yeah.
the gym,
Yeah, I've
handing
been
the
lead
flyers.
gen since I got out of college. It's always been, it's been cold calling and stuff like that, but it's also been how to advertise, how to get things
Yeah.
out there. And
But it's
remember, I
all of
started
it,
doing
right? It
social
was like,
media marketing when I was a car salesman, and
mhm.
Facebook, you still almost pretty much when you still needed a .edu to even get a Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, see, and
And
that's like the combination of those two coming together was like actually brilliant because too, like I think the I think the bigger picture there that a lot of people don't pay attention to is coming into this space as just a new business owner, maybe being like you said, Jake, being a 9 to 5 and like working out, right? And then just deciding, okay, I'm gonna just start a fitness like a training coaching business, right? Well, you've only really worked the job, right? So like even somebody that's like did that and then became a mentor in this space, you really didn't know business and how to properly shift and how to do these things to where like with what we're doing, like I got stories, answers, adjustments, solutions. Fucking, I got a way to solve everything because before I was a fucking online fitness coach, I had to know how to adjust, an entire bid for a fucking house because we missed one thing and I got to pull it out of the labor. So, how do I fix this? And then, how do I redo this? And then, all right, well, this job didn't come through because of a net 60. So, I got to pull from this and do this. So, there's all these other aspects of business that come with this shit to where if you know that side
Yeah.
of business before you get into like online coaching, you have an upper hand big time because you understand the pieces in the background and how they work. And you also understand that that takes a lot of fucking time, right? And that's the same thing with like Justin and the lead gen and the entrepreneurship was like same with sales. It's fucking time and follow up and talking and more time and more follow up and more talk. And it's so you understand already this doesn't pop off fucking tomorrow, but it can pop off in a couple months, but it's got to be fucking boom, 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 boom. And you've got to have a solution for all of those fucking problems you're going to run into in the first 3 months. And most people don't have those answers. And that's why, like, I think we excel so much because we have the answers from both sides of it, whether it's the marketing, advertising, content, social media side, sales side, or it's the raw business strategy, problem solving, think outside of the box side. We have all of that
Well,
within what
yeah,
we
it's
do.
a street smarts combined with the book smarts, and then you throw
100%.
marketing and fucking everything else we do.
And
It's just
design and branding and everything
no one
in
can.
there.
It's untouchable. It's untouchable,
It's untouchable.
mhm.
quite frankly.
You hear that, guys? It's untouchable.
Yeah.
In case you wanted to know.
But I like
But
how
I
you
think,
said about I like how you said about not beating around the bush. Even when I was working with these clients, I was always the dude, and it was hard because I was the tangible guy. I was the guy that had to do fulfillment. So I'd be like, "Yeah, that looks good," and I would kind of fluff them a little bit and be like, "Yeah," and I'd ease my way out of it instead of just being, "No, that fucking sucks. Start over." But
yeah,
now once we've done that and I've taken that switch from your guys' guidance, it makes life so much easier because they respect that honesty, and especially as a leader, and they're going to take you more.
Oh, dude.
And since I've been doing that, everyone's outcome and their output in their content and their game and their strategy, tenfold,
Jake,
tenfold.
if it sucks, it sucks,
And
right?
yeah, yeah.
And that's the
I
thing.
was too nice of a
You're
guy.
not
That's why.
doing anyone any
No,
favors by fluffing anybody at all. If it sucks, it fucking sucks. How
people
many
send me a post.
calls
Yeah,
I get on and I tell them, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
There's
100%.
certain people that you have to be a little bit more not as
gentle.
like straightforward with, but fuck if I'm not gonna be. If
Yeah.
fuck if Scotty, if it sucks, it's not.
It
It's
sucks.
And,
just
Yeah.
not
and
gonna
since then,
work.
when people send me their posts or hey, what do you think about this review? And I'm like, it's awful. And they're like, what do
Yeah.
you? And then I just tell them what to do better instead of doing it for them now. Because before I'd be like, yeah, that's okay. Let me show you this. Then I'm working on the project more. But now that I'm like, hey, this fucking sucks. Give them the explanation of why it sucks, and then they come back and it's 10 times better looking. I feel so much
Mhm.
better out just being honest the first time instead of being the nice.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. I
Yeah.
would just
Well,
change it.
and two, and I think there's a level too, like of with clientele or anybody, and even just anybody you're working with or talking to or trying to help out, to where if they do take offense to that after asking your honest opinion, then they weren't fucking ready to hear it anyways,
No, but I
right?
will say this though. If you're going to tell somebody something they're doing sucks, you have to follow it up with
Why?
constructive
Sure.
Yeah. Why?
feedback.
How to fix it? How to make it better?
Yep.
Hmm.
Right. You can't just say it sucks. I know a lot of guys that will. They'll be like, "Yeah, well, your content sucks," and you're like,
Yeah.
and one in particular,
Yeah.
and
Why?
but why does it suck? Like, tell me what I can do to make it better. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
know it sucks, but
Yeah.
what did I do wrong? The other day, I was on with one of our coaches who did a gym reel from a tripod, and I don't suggest you do much of that anymore, but I gave him, he was like, "What do you think?" And I said, "It sucks." I was like, "Here's what you need to do. For one, your color grading's terrible, blah, blah, blah. Back your camera up a little bit. You can always zoom in.
Hmm.
And you know what I mean? And and then the final thing was stop looking at the fucking camera. And then I found out that he puts it on the forward facing camera. And I know why, because right, we feel like we
Yeah.
got a pump, we look good, we want to see ourselves in the fucking
Yep.
camera. Don't do that shit.
Turn that bitch around.
Yeah, one, you're gonna look at the camera because you can see yourself and you look like a creep when you look at the camera. Two, that camera fucking sucks.
Yeah,
And it probably
it's the
has your
worst.
sweaty, greasy film on it.
Sliding on it and shit.
Right.
Yep.
Wipe
Yep.
your lens, put your camera on the tripod because that's meant to shoot you with the actual camera,
Correct.
not the selfie camera. These guys are so funny. And guess what? I used to do that too.
I say we do that
We
same
all
shit,
did.
man. Fucking, oh yeah.
I
But
used
in
the
it,
forward facing camera because I'd feel good. I had a pump. You could see my side ab, whatever.
Just
and the
I
fucking
just
Coolest guy
you're
ever.
trying to talk to the fucking screen, but you're just staring
so
directly
funny
at
because
it.
we
Like,
were on a
fuck
morning
it.
boardroom. Yeah, we were on a morning boardroom, and I knew I had to get a piece of content, but I had something on mine, and I had it self facing on me while I'm like on the Zoom, and I'm pretending like I'm typing, but I just kept doing one of these where I'm like, I just keep looking at it, and I go back and watch it. Fuck, dude, I flip it around, nailed it. I'm like, because I kept
Yeah.
staring at it, like if my arm looked good, like if I had the.
Well, that's what it is too,
Yeah.
right? It's because we're all I don't give a fuck who you are. Everyone is just so we're all so fucking vain
Oh, yeah.
that we're like, all right, I'm pretty sure that this angle is good, but I'm just gonna double check real quick.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Build an industry that's
And then if it is good, you do it more. Like,
if you build an
What is it?
industry with people that have pure body dysmorphia, then you know the industry is going to be pretty aesthetically pleasing. Which, on the flip side, if you're not aesthetically pleasing, you're never going to be able to hang with the people who
gonna be
are
rough.
aesthetically pleasing. And it's a fucked up industry, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It is what it is with that though, man. Like, like that's one of those hard liners. Like and it's not to say here's my only kind of flip side to that is there are always those exceptions of like the ex-pro bodybuilder or like the ex-NFL player or something to where like the guys know their shit, right? But like they played sports for 30 fucking years or something and they're like, "Look, I know everything. I don't give a fuck anymore though," right? Like
Yeah.
those guys have some credibility, right? But as outside of that, if you don't have a good deep history like that, like look, that's the reality. You better fucking come with some kind of a shape. You better have a couple fucking abs to show, a little bit of striate. You got to have something, right? Like I
Mhm.
don't give a fuck who you are. Nobody is buying off from like hopes and dreams that the kind of slightly overweight person might be able to get him in shape with no history. Like that shit ain't happening. It's just not. I
True.
wish some days I wish it wasn't like that, but it's like it's sorry. Like
Yeah, if you don't have a physique, take up mindset coaching. And even then,
just be like
or life coaching.
Or better yet, hire a coach yourself first and go through the motions of getting yourself in the best fucking shape. And then
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I could have never.
most of these people try and do it
coach if I
themselves.
wasn't actually coached.
Well, and that's just it. So
No.
many people come in this industry, and I'm one of them. I never had the best. I
But
owned
you're
a
from
gym,
the fitness industry, Jake.
100%.
It's different.
But
It's
even
different
then-
when like you've never experienced being coached. It's just like people who want to start businesses and they've never experienced being coached by someone who's done it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just not realistic. Like if you don't know what it's like to like go through an email sequence and sign up into an app and get on a Zoom call with somebody and watch how they brought you in and then made you take out your credit card and pay them and then went through getting checked in with a coach and things like that. You know who my first influencer online coach was? Joey Swoll.
I feel like I do.
I thought you knew that.
Can't remember.
That was my first coach.
That's why, goddamn, I knew it. Yeah.
It was Joey Swoll.
That was like when you first started Yeah.
That was when I still lived
at
in
the
Michigan.
beginning.
Oh, you weren't in Huntington yet?
No,
I was
no.
gonna say, why do you just do in person?
No,
At that time?
I hired Joey when I was before even this Instagram was created.
Wow. How'd you find him?
Instagram. What are you talking
Well,
Oh,
his
about?
old
I thought you said before. I thought you.
What are you talking about?
I heard that
yeah.
wrong.
So the
His
first
old one. He
person
had
who
another
gave
one.
me a little bit of guidance was was a guy named Jason. Okay, he wasn't an online coach; he was a coworker. And then the second person was I think Cody Hovey helped me a little bit.
Yep.
And then I was doing something with Nick Geppetto Warner, and I
Yeah,
was
I
doing
know.
something on Instagram, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna start sharing my meal plans and things like that." I was down over 100 pounds at that point, and I started putting my meal plans and talking about it in the dealership. And I was taking like, this is a while back, Scotty. I mean, you'll
Oh
remember
yeah. Yeah.
when it
It's,
was,
yeah.
you know,
Straight
my in a
containers in the
prior
I
in a
remember
prior
yeah.
life,
Yeah.
right, Jake? Like you wouldn't even imagine I was like posting all this stuff, like very similar to how I post today. But I was
But
partying my face off.
not
So like
enough.
half of my content
Yeah.
was like meal plans and here's how I eat at the dealership and things like that. And then the other half was like double, 2 bottles of Tito's, zooted out of my mind at day trip or not day trip, but one of the music festivals and all of it. And then I went through a crazy divorce and I shut everything down,
That's crazy.
disappeared.
I never, no,
But
none of
in
the,
that time before I shut everything down, yeah, I paid for it was like $149 a month from Joey Swoll.
it's the same price. He still offers $149.
Is that it? I don't even know
He's got
anymore.
a, yeah, he's
But
got a
like, yeah, it
$90.
was like,
If
oh
it
yeah, it was
works.
something like that. And it was like, yes,
Yeah,
it
I thought
was
it was
dirt
100.
cheap. And you want
That's
to know what's
100
even
bucks.
funnier? What's even funnier is when I moved out here, um, and I had some other ones in between that helped me out with like programming and injectables and whatever. But when I got back here, I met Joey like within like a month of training at 24 hour, and I signed back up for his program.
That I remember you telling me you did.
Yep.
Because when we saw him at the Fit Expo, I remember when I
Yeah.
went up to him.
And it was funny because I knew already what to expect from him. You know what I mean? And I still didn't even think that
Yeah.
I wanted to be, a full-time online coach or anything like that. But
Sure.
like a month or two later, I was like, I'm gonna fucking do this. This is great. This is good money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Took no
fun.
time.
It's fucking fun. It's so much fun too. Like that's like for me, that's probably the biggest part of it. Like it's fun.
Scotty,
I
were you ever a personal trainer though, Scotty? Did you ever do in person?
nope.
And Justin, you didn't either.
No.
Right?
No,
See,
no, I have
and
no credentials.
that was the hardest.
I
And I
have
think
no
that
one.
that's still the hardest part for me because I've been in person so long. There is that connection you have with people, but the hours fucking suck. And when you can do the same thing online, but there's still those times if you could do both and play it out and you're still making the money you want and having the time freedom as a personal trainer with clients, I think there's joy in that. But I do get for some people's perspective, it's much better online. Much better.
Well,
Yeah.
it just depends on like how you value your time. And again, like yeah, personal connection's fantastic. I have just as much personal connection in a gym as an online trainer.
Sure.
I go in
Oh
there, I
yeah.
see some people that I know everything about them, right? Like I have people that I'm sweating my ass off. They come up and give me a big hug. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you can have your personal connection,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think like I think it's great when it happens, right? Like I love that. I love the personal connection. I love like the in-person shit like in any aspect.
Yeah.
But at the same time too, like I would be a full-blown fucking liar if I said I wanted to trade my time to be with that person over like my wife or
For
my
sure.
kids or
Yep.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like I think
yeah,
that there's an element of honesty to it too, where it's like, look, I like you, I want to help you, but I also don't want to spend hours a day with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like and it's
yeah.
possible and I can still help you
Again,
that
like I
way.
said, in-person training is cool if that's how you value your time. That's not even saying that I value my time more than them. If the goal is like I love being in the gym so much and I love spotting people so much that that's where I want to spend my life is right there. That's where I feel at home.
Yeah.
Then that's a good spot for you.
Sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want to be at the gym from open till close, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are
Yeah, I
those
mean, if that's
gyms
your
I
like,
did.
thing, for
I
sure.
was one of them.
well,
I
like
prefer.
average Joe's, right? Like those guys all spent their time together. They loved each other. They had a whole team. They ended up,
Yeah.
doing a dodgeball tournament. But that could
They
be the
won.
gym, right? That it's like, we love it here. We just love it here. Not saying that
Yeah.
it's like average Joe's, but I'm just saying in general, like there are those gym communities where it's like, I'm home. I value my time differently.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think I could ever go back. I spent 10 years doing that. Damn near.
It's not bad.
I would. Yeah, I
Not
wouldn't.
bad.
No
Not a
way.
bad
No
value.
way.
It's
And
just different value.
I had a light die. Had a light die right there, guys. Right here, live on the podcast. I had a light go out. When you look at that,
Beautiful.
that's
We'll
right. I'm
wait.
not worried about
We'll wait till you order a new one.
You almost look like a priest right now with your
it. You
white
know what else?
collar.
I was as soon as it happened too. I was thinking like if we could do like you could change my voice and I could go into like some fucking like those
Oh
anonymous
yeah.
like interviews. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like super dark back here.
You're in the
Huh.
witness protection program.
Yeah, witness protection room. I'm bummed out about that. That just happened for real. It's plugged
So,
in too. So
so
that's
I'm
I'll
gonna
tell
ask,
you guys what I've been binging. I told Scotty a little bit. I've been binging the DAP, the Dads Against Predators. Have you guys watched any of those?
no.
Oh, they're brutal.
Oh, that'd be hard to watch.
What if can you cameo on that shit? That'd be fun.
It's funny how many people will say like the comments go, why would you slap him? And then the next comment says, without my hand. It's like, cause yeah, basically Jake, like that's like the normal comment for the DAP page. Why would you hit him like that? Without me there to hit him too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So like these
Give him a
guys,
big hug from
these
me with a
two
brick.
guys,
Yeah.
they go to meet predators in like the middle of Target.
Oh, I have seen those dudes. I
Oh,
have.
they're wicked.
I thought you meant maybe a series. I was like, fuck, there's a series on that. But you're
They
talking
need to put a series of it, but it'd be really violent.
they
Because
catch him
like
in
they
like the
go,
Home Depot parking lots, like, what are you doing meeting? Or like, what are you doing here?
yeah, and then they like slap the shit out of them.
Yeah, I have seen that.
It's the
Dude,
best
I would
channel
cameo
on.
that
Yeah,
all
good
day.
for them.
Yeah, it's the best. You would, yeah, it's the best channel on Instagram. I think it gets me so
I would
stoked.
love to do that. I see you know what? I couldn't do it. I swear to God,
You
I
wouldn't
couldn't
know
do
when to
it.
stop.
I wouldn't know when to stop.
You see red.
Dude,
No, yeah,
like
you have to
having
see. You have
daughters
to
and stuff,
have.
dude, I will kill you. Like,
You have to have
uh,
Matt. Like you have to be able to reserve your actual feelings towards people if you're gonna like those guys, and they're not like educated dudes. I mean, they're great, right? But they're like
yeah,
in and out of trouble as
they're
kids.
just bronze.
Been through some shit. Ohio dudes, you know what I mean? Like, but cool, great guys, but not like they're.
Yeah.
They look like some guys that would pop off on a motherfucker,
Yeah.
but they don't. They're reserved.
Yeah,
They're
and they
very
can't.
professional
Yeah, like
actually for what it
that's
is.
I couldn't.
They're probably
It's
not
so
dads. They
hard
may
for me.
not
I
be
would just
dads because they're
They
young
are
dudes,
kill
right?
dads.
somebody.
They
They
are
are
dads?
dads.
Oh, they're
Okay.
dads.
Yeah, they're
Are they?
dads.
Okay.
Yeah, one
I
has
would,
like
yeah,
three
it'd be so
daughters.
hard.
So yeah, he's like, yeah, no, they're dads. I don't know what their home life is like, but I know that they're dads. They don't talk about that. I
They
don't
turn
think.
the cameras off and those people disappear. They never see those fucking. All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna leave you alone for this one. Turn the fucking camera off.
So
Turn it off.
Justin, I did want to ask you, man. I know we heard predictions, and you and Scotty have been pretty good about predictions as far as where the internet's going. What do you see for the rest of 2025? Not to turn this like into an interview, but I wanted to ask you, like, where do you see this both for both of you guys? Where do you see this going in 2025 in the direction? We've heard podcasts, we've heard funny shit. We've got a good mixture between the three of us, but like in your opinions, where do you see this going, especially for online coaches?
I think authenticity and
Storytelling, and
yeah, and
authenticity. Yeah.
storytelling. I think that's going to go to like the root of it. I think content's going to get boring. Just like, and I agree with Gary Vee with that. I said that reels were going to be longer, right? Back
Mhm.
when the election was
So
going
now,
on.
do you think that'll create more boring content if people are trying to hit that 3 minute mark without them even being able to get the
The
knife?
answer is people who are serious about doing things in general are getting more invested and spending more time on the screen.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
in terms of people who are, I'll tell you, when I am like really wanting to work on my physique and things like that, I spend more time looking at fitness content and like what people are talking about. I spend more time listening when people start talking about different diets and stuff like that. I spend time looking at supplement things, ads and things like that. I'll actually like things that'll catch my attention. I actually do pay attention to.
Yeah,
If I'm answering honestly, some people doom scroll, and that's not the people that we want to attract or anybody wants to attract.
correct.
We want to attract eyeballs of the people who are actually looking for what we have to offer and what anybody else listening to this may have to offer. So I think that content is going to need to resonate very, very heavily with people, like way more than it ever has before. And it's always been the case, but I think now is going to be like, meet me in my car.
Yeah.
Here's what I have to say in my car. Because everybody, just like what you said earlier, Scotty, in your storyline, everybody spends a lot of time in their car. I think that,
Yeah.
so I think, yeah, I
It's
think full
relatable.
blown ads. As a matter of fact, last night's Super Bowl ad, I'm sure everybody rolled their eyes at with Kanye. And he was like getting his teeth done or something. And he had his forward facing camera. And he had like, did you guys see that ad?
No, not
I didn't
yet.
see that one.
Okay. So basically, like Kanye was like in the dentist chair or something. I remember seeing it and I was like, holy shit. Like, whoever wrote that ad probably knows what the fuck they're doing. And I think a lot of people rolled their eyes at it. And I think maybe that it was not the best placement. I don't know how it performed. We will never know how it performed unless we like call somebody at Adidas or wherever, whatever it was for.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was basically in the dentist chair and he had his forward facing camera and he had the glasses on the dentist gives you. And he said something about like, go to Yeezy, go to Yeezy.com, getting my teeth done, something, something, something. And I think he was getting a new grill put in. And that was it.
No shit.
There it is.
That's his
Okay.
third
There it
post
is.
down.
So that was a Super Bowl ad.
Okay.
So whatever company paid however much that ad was,
It's 8
several
million for
million
30
dollars, 8
seconds.
million, 20 million
Yeah.
dollars for that spot,
Yep.
knowing that was going to resonate with somebody that they were watching, because there's no fucking way that whatever the company was that suggested that didn't know what they were talking about, because we're seeing it more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
So old people
Yep.
fucking rolled their eyes, but whoever was looking for that exact thing with Yeezy is buying and paying whatever it
Oh
costs,
yeah.
and
Yeah, a
probably
lot.
paying a huge premium for whatever
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah.
I didn't go down that rabbit hole. But so I think, yeah, I think whoever made that ad knows what's going to happen. And I think that that's the direction things are going.
Yeah. I'm excited to get Scotty out here, man. I can't wait to see what the three of us, especially the two of you, but just the amount of stuff you
Yeah, I'm
guys are
stoked.
putting out right now. I mean, when we get in office and we move in the direction of just building content all day and all night, especially with the families together, and just the moments that we're going to capture is going to be like, look the fuck out. Like, look,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good
Yeah.
time.
It's really
It's
great.
gonna be a good time. I'm stoked, man. It's been a long fucking time coming, but I'm very, very excited about that shit. No, and I think too, like in the storytelling realm, I think what's gonna happen is the only content that's gonna get boring is the content where the story can't be delivered like in an entertaining fashion, right? And
Right.
that can be the way you speak, that could be your energy, that could be your music choice, that could be whatever, but we're going to see a lot more storytelling, and I think the only boring content we're going to get is going to be either those beginners that like have they're just getting started, right? Because a lot of times we forget like Instagram has been around for fucking almost 20 years now. Like
Yeah.
so like you know what I mean? So it's a long fucking time. So there's people just starting to do this where they're gonna try those 3 minute reels and it'll probably fucking just they won't do shit with them,
Hmm.
and that's gonna be the boring content. But I think the people that are established that understand like, okay, I've been trying to educate on this platform in the best way I could in 90 seconds, but now I
Hmm.
have an additional minute and a half to do even more. I
Right.
think I think the education level is going to go through the roof, but I also think the misinformation level will also go through the roof because it's going to be the same shit. So it's
yeah.
going to also be people that are taking 3 minutes and spewing bullshit. So it's going to be
Yeah.
I'm
interesting
hearing,
to see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
hearing,
Because invested eyeballs could go one of two
Could go
ways,
one of two
right?
ways. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
hearing that we're gonna start seeing more of a flux of the TikTok style online shopping brought to Instagram. Have you guys heard that? So how they
I
do the
have
TikTok
actually. I had
shop,
a
I
coach.
heard that's coming to Instagram in a hard way.
Yeah, one of our coaches actually reached out to me and asked about that today. So I'm gonna probably do some research into that too. But I can see that going in that direction for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think it
Which
has to, right? I think in order to be able to compete and to continue to compete, like they're gonna have to kind of bounce off of each other. The platforms are a little bit.
Well, I think it's great. At first, I didn't like it, but it's bringing out the entrepreneur and everybody who didn't think they were, including the stay-at-home moms, which will
Yeah,
only bring more confidence to them to then possibly do what we do, or mentorship, or leadership, or just coaching. Because how long can you online sell? And I'm sure that you can do it for a while. And
yeah.
people have been doing it for a while, but at a point, I don't think it's going to get saturated. Like we don't use the word saturated. It's going to get polluted. I think it's going to
Oh
get,
yeah. Oh,
and people
super
are going to have to
polluted.
find other revenues once they have that following to then do
Yeah,
something like a community, a mentorship program, how to teach other people to do that type of stuff. So I'm kind of with it. I'm kind of down with it to see where it goes.
yeah. No, I am too. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. I think there's gonna be a lot of new shit coming.
Are you
And
wait, you were talking real quick. I had to use the bathroom again. I've been
you're
drinking
fine.
a lot
What
of
are you,
these
yeah, what are you
waters
drinking? Like
here. Um,
Ram's
you were
piss?
talking about live shopping on Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
it's
already
coming.
taken the world by storm.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So
It's
it's like
already like it is the storyline, lives, everything. I follow a chick that fucking absolutely crushes it doing that. And she I think she came on a call or something like that and was like this close. But yeah, she does like cosmetic stuff, hoodies, all kinds of things, and does live shopping stuff constantly. And her feed is always flooded, but it's always like at like 7 stories, maybe no more than 8. Because I was
okay.
wondering like how, because I want to be able to start doing like more live day in the
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's
And
crazy. It,
yeah,
it
and
was
she's obviously crushing it. I, lives in a great house, like everything, and
it was actually it was
I
Gary
think she's
V.
a single mom too. So
Yeah, I
not
watched
anything crazy.
I watched a TikTok with Gary Vee, and he was talking to it. And it's kind of funny. I was going to send it to you. He was talking to a car dealer, and he said, if you are not selling online through your live feed in 2025, you are doing a disservice to your business. And that'll be the next step, is doing lives and actually selling product through your lives on Instagram. And it made me start thinking about you two. And what we've got here is, if that could transfer over, I wonder how that would work for the online space. Like as far
For
as coaching.
online fitness coaching,
Yeah.
I think it's already a thing.
Yeah, I would say it's the
Maybe I
same
just haven't seen
concept.
anyone.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
haven't
I
seen
think it's
anyone do
already a
it.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if it can be sold through the story and through the lives,
it is.
it is, and that's again, once again, what we're finding out is that's the savagery that's required.
That's
That's the level
that's a
of
hustle.
resilience, and you know what I mean? Because I see these people that are crushing. Because I follow a handful of people that are doing like their own business and stuff, and I'm always curious about how they're doing it, what their approach is, and things like that. And everyone that I see that's hustling in lives is doing pretty good, like
Nice.
It's
doing really
crushing it.
good.
Yeah,
Yep.
Interesting.
yeah.
So it
Well,
already
and it
is a
makes sense
thing.
too,
It
right?
already is a thing. It's just a matter of like how many people are willing to separate that time of the day to put themselves on camera live. That's
Yeah.
exhausting, you guys. Like I used to try to do it a couple
Oh
times a
yeah,
week, and it's
there's no dead
exhausting.
space. You got to keep the conversation up. You've got to be. You're basically a game show host, right? But
Yeah.
but to that same point though, if you can do it and you can do it well, it kind of goes back to what I talked about on our call the other day, to where and anybody listening to this thinking about doing this is getting out of that headspace of like needing thousands and thousands of people to like watch you and do and want to sign up, where it's like same thing goes with the lives, right? If you can get 50 people that are committed that would buy from you out of a live, 50 fucking people, right? Like for anybody listening, let's break down some easy numbers. Like 50 times 500 is a lot of fucking money. So like
Hmm.
people don't need these thousands and thousands of people and clients and all this, right? And the live is something that like you could really utilize for that. If you
Yeah.
could go live every day and sell one fucking coaching package every single day from a
Oof.
live, like that's extremely beneficial. It's like the
Yeah.
numbers have to be so much smaller than people think, and the live could be really beneficial for that. I think you could do a
Yeah.
lot of work in.
100%. I think that's, I mean, lives have been a thing for quite a while now, but at least for the last year it's been a heavy sales tool, um
Hmm.
yeah, I think again, almost everything that it comes down to, and I'll close with this, and we can no need to close, but it's just what I was going to say
I like it.
at the very last part is right, is it's like if you don't have skin in the game, I said this in our call on Tuesday night, if you don't have any other options, you're more likely to make it work.
Hmm.
I have seen less people with no options fail than I've seen people with more options succeed.
Yeah, I
I
can
had to
agree
think
to
about
that
that for
wholeheartedly.
a second. I haven't rattled that one out too many times, but it's really true.
It's good. It's very true. Yeah.
You know, it's very rarely that you see somebody that has a million different directions and options that does anything great.
Mm-mm.
And the person who's like, I've run out of options.
This
This
is
is
all
what
I
I can
got. I got to make
master.
this
This is all
work.
I got to
Yeah.
do. So the moral of the
Yeah.
story is burn the boats, go all in. There's so much out there. Everybody
Yeah.
wants you to succeed. The only people that don't want you to succeed are never going to spend their money with you, anyways.
Nope.
Everybody wants you to succeed. The platforms want you to succeed. They need you to succeed. That's how they know they're a successful platform. And you may be thinking, well, why do they care about me? No, you don't get it. Like, you're spending money, you're creating more attention on their platform.
Mm-hmm.
They actually got big by caring about all the people that are involved. That's why they continue to make it more secure, more available, more value. They want to target things to your eyeballs. Like, they do care. They do
Yeah.
care. Individually, they care. If you hire a good mentor, they're going to want you to succeed. They're going to want you to succeed more than they want themselves to succeed, because they know that if you continue to succeed, that they're going to succeed more. One hand washes the other.
Yes, sir. Old as time, man. Old as time. It's always been that way. One hand washes the other. But people got to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. This was fun.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's late
I'm
there,
pissed.
Scotty.
Pissed about my light, man. I'm upset about my light.
Dude, the more shit you have, the more technical